Hello, folks, and welcome. You're listening to Real Laughs. My name's Mike Hurley. I'm filling in for James John, who's out sick this week. Singing with us tonight, we have Miguel Colon Jr. How you doing, Miguel?
Good, man. Good.
Cool. And, of course, the godfather of Orlando comedy, as always, Mr. Ken Miller. Hey, Ken.
I'm, man, in this house burning. I got to get a haircut.
I thought you were supposed to go this week, man.
I was, man, but man, it's a long story, man.
We got time. What happened?
And now, I just got this hypochondriac I live with, man, and just wherever now, if I go somewhere, bro, somebody's gonna sneeze, and then I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna be the one, that gets bit by the vampire, but pretends that he didn't get bit. And I'm like, no, I'm cool, but
dude,
so she's asking me to wait for a week or two.
I'm not even gonna lie, man. I've said for a while now, I'm like, June, I'll start venturing now in June. I'll start doing stuff in June, and I get the side eye from the kid's mom whenever I'm talking about, maybe I'll get my hair cut today and bring that back in here with us. But she's also the one that goes out shopping and leaves the groceries at the door, comes in, gets the Lysol, sprays down her keys, sprays down everything. And I'm kind of like, I don't do any of that. So,
son,
I live alone.
Son. When we get something, bruh, I am Lysoling or Clorox wiping anything. As soon as the Amazon guy drops something off at the door, I have to open the door, spray it. We let it sit in the sun for 2 minutes because the sun kills the coronavirus apparently, and and then we bring it in the house. 2 minutes. Then we bring it in the house, open it, and whatever's inside gets sprayed.
Man, go ahead, Miguel.
I have my Uber Eats guy come in the house. I'm like,
you're like, come in. I've been so lonely. I just need some human contact.
Sit down, hang out. I bought enough for both of us.
Yeah.
Yo, he's like, oh, it's cool. I already ate some anyway. So straight.
Why my pizza look like Pac-Man?
Well, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about something. This came across my news feed this week. You guys familiar with LG, the electronics company? They do TV, radio, stuff like that. Well, I guess their division in Poland, they put out commercials. And you guys know when corporations put out commercials, they kind of target it towards, where it's going to play, obviously. And I got to say, some of these international commercials are hilarious. Like, the rest of the world takes sex a lot more lightly than the U.S. does. A lot of their commercials have, like, semi-naked people walking around, But this specific commercial that people are up in arms over seems to show how good its phone's cameras take upskirt photos. The commercial in question has an old man kind of walking down a staircase at some sort of monument, young girl walking up the staircase. While the young girl's walking up, she hears chee 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 chee, obviously the sound of a phone camera, turns around, sees the old man holding the phone up, figures that he's been taking upskirt photos, runs down, grabs the phone, scrolls through, and it's all pictures of the old man taking selfies of himself on the staircase. So she hands back the phone. She walks away. The guy looks at his phone, scrolls back a few more the other direction, and it's all upskirt photos of the girl walking up the stairs.
First of all, that dude was in a death camp in World War II, so cut him some slack, okay? He's a war hero.
Wow. So, obviously, sensitive times. Like, I don't think that commercial would fly in America at all.
No.
I mean, the LG would be boycotted pretty much. I wouldn't be surprised if this got out that LG wouldn't get boycotted here because we love to get angry. But it made me think, have you guys ever seen any commercials that made you just sit back and go, probably the wrong way to go with that? Or anything?
Yeah, bro. Heck, yeah, my all-time favorite, and it's my coworkers too. I don't know if y'all remember, like 2 or 3 years ago, Ragu had a campaign.
With the
He's
cat?
been through enough.
No.
The kid walks in, catches his parents having sex, and then they make him spaghetti to make him feel better.
What?
Yes,
dude, I missed that commercial.
Yeah, we used to. It was so funny.
He's been through enough.
That's the end. Like, they do this rhyme like, he walks in on you and you're doing something bad, but it's your dad. And then he goes, and then they make him Ragu, and then it's like, Ragu, he's been through enough. And
you're making this up, man. This is a parody.
Not,
this is a parody. I'm gonna look this up later.
Not, bro. It's Ragu, and they had a bunch of them, and then the campaign just stopped. And me and my coworkers used to clown about this, but the one I always that was so controversial was in China, where they put somebody dark into a washing machine.
Oh, and cleaned.
Yeah, and cleaned it, and then it was like, oh, the washing powder is so good it turns you white. You know what I mean? Yeah,
What?
yes,
Chinese,
dude.
yeah, I remember that on
Yeah,
Facebook. They were showing
yeah.
that.
But
Oh,
Did you get?
Ragu's my
dude,
favorite.
I pulled it up. I'm watching it on YouTube right now.
Yo,
Little white kid. Look at that face, dude. He's turning around. He's like,
yo, and then they make this kid spaghetti.
and
Yo,
that makes it okay.
that makes it okay, bro. Yo, we've been through enough, bro.
Do you remember all the when Levi's had the button up fly, all the sexually suggestive Levi button up flies commercials? There was one I always remember the piece. It's just the dude buttoning up his fly, and he's walking out of a house, and you just see him button up his fly, and he's walking, and then somebody passes him like, "What's up, Derek?" He's like, "What's up?" And the guy walks in the house, and then you hear him, he goes, "Mom, put on some clothes." And that was like the button up fly commercial. Like his homeboy just got done banging his mom.
Dude, it's funny because I think one of the other commercials that, now that you brought up Ragu, one of the other commercials that irked me, and this had to be back in like 97, 98, there was a commercial where a kid comes home from school, it's raining, he's got the raincoat on, he's looking miserable, and the mom was just about to make him a frozen pizza. And then she puts the frozen pizza back in the freezer, and she's like, and the narrator goes, "Some days it takes something special to bring them out of their funk." And she goes and makes him tomato soup and grilled cheese or something like that. No, it was a Campbell's commercial. It wasn't
want the
Ragu.
pizza. I want the pizza, Mom.
Well, that was the thing. I thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, number one, what kid doesn't want pizza? Number
Yeah.
two, you got tomato soup, which is tomato, bread, and cheese with the grilled cheese. You gave him the same thing in a format he's going to like less, and he's supposed to be joyous about this. But I will tell you, I think the commercials that stuck with me, and I think the fact they tried to make a TV show out of it shows how good these
caveman?
commercials. There you are, right
The
there, man.
caveman.
The Geico
Yeah.
cavemen had me. The whole so easy a caveman could do
Yeah.
it, and
Not
then
cool.
I like the sad caveman. Whenever
Yeah.
people were making fun of the caveman, it was just like,
surely did make a
TV
I
show,
totally forgot
yeah.
about a TV show.
My favorite was the one where the caveman was the boom operator, and they're doing the commercial. They're like, "Geico, so easy a caveman could do it," and he drops the boom and he looks at me and goes, "Not cool, not cool."
what was the one where he was on that people
The piano?
mover at the airport?
Oh.
No, he was holding his bag like he was going somewhere. He had a tennis racket. He was traveling, and while he was on that personal conveyor, he passed the Geico advertising on the sidewall. And it was like a caveman trying to beat on a log or
Yeah.
something, and he just walked backwards, looked at it, and he's like,
Furious. I like. Do you ever see who's Flo? Who's Flo with?
progressive.
Progressive, where Flo's giving the kid the pep talk after the basketball game. He lost the basketball game. She's like, "Listen, Jimmy, it doesn't matter that you lost because Progressive offers blah 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 insurance." He's like, "Thanks, Flo." He's like, "You think we can get some cupcakes?" She's like, "I think we can." He's like, "With sprinkles?" She's like, "Sprinkles are for winners, Jimmy."
Yeah.
That reminds me. Dude, we were sitting outside other bar one night, and Ken will tell you, Miguel, you've been there. What goes on at that outside bar, other bar, is 100 times funnier than anything on that stage. And one night it was just a bunch of us, all the working guys, sitting around. I think Akeem had just made like host or feature, and Akeem Woods comes walking out. He's got his free popcorn in his little basket, and he comes walking down. I just look at him, I smack it out of his hand, and popcorn goes flying everywhere. I'm like, popcorn's for headliners. And he was still holding the basket with the wax paper, so he starts licking the wax paper, and I just ripped that out of his hand. You've never seen someone so defeated in his life.
When
And now
I
the guy's
tell you,
now the guy's on
I
Godfrey's
laughed.
podcast every week.
I
So.
laughed so hard, bro. This dude knocked the popcorn out of grown man hand and said, "Popcorn is for headliners." Man, dude, I totally forgot about that, bro.
Oh, that was one of my.
Hey,
That,
do you
that was
guys
so much
ever
fun.
use Pluto TV?
Yeah, I use it.
Pluto
now, man.
Pluto the
TV.
same thing. Pluto TV. It has a bunch of stations where they would play a bunch of old movies and TV shows. That's why I watch Unsolved Mysteries.
Me too, man.
They do
It's
the
on all
same
day.
thing with their commercials. Are so sexual. Like they have one like we do it after we do it every night. We do it after we eat meatloaf. But it's a commercial about loading the dishwasher.
But they see it.
But they make it seem like they're like it's couples. Like, ooh, we do it.
Do you remember the
after.
pistachio commercials where it's like how they eat their nuts? Like, you know, there was right after the Secret Service got in trouble for picking up all those hookers in Colombia. They had one, and it's all these guys in suits with glasses on and Spanish girls sitting on their laps, and it's like the Secret Service does theirs in secret, but not
Dude.
really that well.
I it was definitely an international commercial. I think it might have been for Heineken, but it's like a close up shot where you see the guy kind of kneeling on the bed, and then you see nothing because the girl's hair is blocking out that crotch area, and then you see on her back is a bottle of Heineken. So you see like the guy pick up the Heineken. You see the hand just come into frame, pick up the Heineken, put it back down on the back, but then the camera keeps panning, and you see another hand come from the back, pick up the Heineken, and put it back down. So
That's
almost like
the wobbly H going on.
Yeah,
like a gentleman's table.
That got it.
That's the word for it.
That's
a gentleman's table.
Gentleman's table. Yeah,
I've never heard that. That's dude. Matter of fact, let me Google gentleman's table.
You won't find it. That's a phrase. That's a phrase me and my boy Chris came with. Like, throw a blanket over her.
It's on the list of options. It's on the menu when you walk into the Sausage Castle. Would you like the gentleman's
table? That's going to cost you extra by the minute.
So, is there any commercial that like actually worked on you? Like you saw it enough that you're like, all right, man, I guess I'm going to go ahead and buy from them.
I'll tell you what it was. It was the first PlayStation commercial. Showed somebody playing like Nintendo and all these 16-bit games and 8-bit games and stuff. And then it just stopped in the middle. And I remember like the screen cracks and it's like,
and you hear the
why
sound?
are you living in the past? And then I saw all these games and I was like, what the hell? It had Resident Evil. I was like, I've never seen nothing like it. And I was working at the time, I think it was a busboy. And I was like, well, I know where all my money's going now.
Yo, not everything. Every commercial, my coworkers make fun of me because advertise, especially if it's food. Try to, if you come out with something brand new, I'm the one to try it and then go tell everybody how terrible it was. Remember Burger King did ribs?
Yep.
Yeah.
I went and I said, I'm going to get the Burger King ribs. They taste just like hot dogs. They taste exactly like hot dogs. Advertisement gets me all the time, and don't let it be in the 90s. And if Michael Jordan was in it, I was getting it. Remember MCI, him and Bugs Bunny? I got MCI long distance because of Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Is that why you still got Hanes t-shirts and boxers?
Oh, that's it. If Michael Jordan would, I would, bro.
Dude, I'll tell you, the best thing happening for me, like I'm a Netflix, Hulu. If it's not on streaming, I don't watch it anymore, which is great because my sleep schedule is like I go to bed at like 5 o'clock, and it's been like that since I was a teenager. I'll fall asleep at 5 a.m. watching whatever's left on TV. And infomercials for me, man. I'm one of ththose guys that the first 2-3 minutes of infomercials, I'm like, this guy is ridiculous. Why would 20 minutes in, I'm like, I need a pen and paper. I need to call now because I can flip houses with someone else's money. I have no risk whatsoever. I think I was the first person in my country to buy one of those flat hoses, the ones that like ball up. Yeah, so I'm pretty
mesh.
I'm pretty susceptible, man.
Yeah, Mike,
I'm
I'm that guy too. When I used to work, when I worked White House, we did 3 shifts, and you would rotate the shift. So when I worked a shift that was, I think it was like 3 to 11 at night, and so when I get home late, I'm wide awake, and I'll be watching all those as seen on TV commercials.
Yeah,
and man, me and my ex-wife had a closet full of the perfect egg maker, the perfect ramen.
I had one. I had perfect pancake all day long, man.
The one thing that you could clean the fan, the duster,
the extendable duster. Yeah.
I have 4 George Foreman grills.
Next to your 8 TVs.
4 George Foreman
so
grills,
it sounds like Ken and I are going to get together, do a yard sale real soon, guys.
Real soon, bro.
When we come back, though, we're going to have a Throwback Thursday with Miguel, and we're also talking about how you were raised. How were you disciplined? Pediatricians right now are taking a stance against spanking the child, but I think everybody here remembers getting the belt from time to time. So when we come back, we're going to get personal right here on Real Laughs. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Laughs. My name is Mike Hurley. I'm joined in studio with Miguel Colon Jr. and, of course, the godfather of Orlando comedy, Ken Miller. Now, guys, as you know, I am a parent. I take raising my kids pretty seriously, and my technique for raising my children is basically doing the exact opposite of what my parents did with me, which is kind of weird because when it comes down to, like, discipline, like, I was raised where I never got beat, but I definitely got spanked. And I also got hit with various objects in my house because my mom could turn anything into a weapon, especially wooden spoons. She once took a wooden saucepan, beat my butt with it, broke her spoon on my butt, and then beat me again with another spoon because I broke her spoon. That was another punishment. So pediatricians now are coming out, and they're basically, I'm surprised it took this long for a bunch of doctors to come out and go, yeah, 9 out of 10 of us say you probably shouldn't hit your kids anymore. But they're saying that by spanking and causing physical punishment to children, they're teaching the children that it's okay to hit, of course. So I guess my question to you guys is, first of all, how were you raised? Was getting beat or spanked something that was common in your house? And number two, Ken, you have kids. Miguel, not yet, that you're claiming anyways. How will you raise those children? Yeah. So I guess let's start with you, Miguel. Miguel, were you one of those people that would catch a beating every now and then?
Yes. And I think it's funny because you said 9 out of 10 doctors spoke out against it. It's because the 10th doctor took so many beatings, he's still scared. He's like, I ain't saying nothing, mama.
Or he's like, no, if I got them, they're getting them too.
Yeah, exactly. No, man, I took a lot of ass whoopings as a kid. And I think culturally, Spanish culture, the time, military household, it was just a given. And the thing about it is, and me and you were talking about this earlier, Mike, before the show, I actually now don't think if I had kids, I would spank them that much. I hope I wouldn't spank them at all, but I don't know if I will. But I know what I learned from taking ass whooping was sometimes you got to take an ass whooping and you got to weigh the fact of, is the ass whooping worth what you want? And when you take them enough, sometimes you're like, hey, you guys want to go down to that old abandoned house and set it on fire? You're like, man, you gonna take an ass whoop? Yeah, I haven't had my ass whooped in weeks. You know, I'm ready to come home, smelling like smoke with police sirens everywhere, trying to figure out why the abandoned shed caught on fire, knowing damn well I'm gonna take an ass whooping for it, but lay in bed like, that fire was amazing.
I got so much street cred off that fire.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah, man. Me and my buddy Willie would always get in trouble when we were younger. We were bad little kids. We didn't mean to be bad. We were acting out, man. We were acting out. A lot of kid pressure on us, you know. Like it is, man. I'll say it. Ken knows it from being military. Military families got weird pressure on them because it's like mom's stressed out, dad's not home, and you running around with a bunch of boys whose dads aren't home. Everybody all stressed out. So you're going to do bad little kid stuff all the time. Dude, from a young age.
And y'all terrible.
The worst kids.
They talk about preachers' kids, bruh. Military kids. Because, you know, I lived in the barracks. It would be girls in the barracks. I'm like, yo, you in the military? Nah, my dad is. Like, how old are you? 19? No, you not. You don't get your ass up out of here, yo.
Ain't no 19-year-old with braces and a
you don't get your ass up out of here, bro.
Oh, so I used to, and if my father was deployed, everything was higher stress in the household, and that's times where I would mess up and you catch some ass whoopings, man. Like,
would you act up more when you knew your father wasn't around, or
it was just because he wasn't around. It wasn't like I was taking advantage of it. It was the stress of and the anger of dad's not gonna be around for like 8-9 months, and that means everything's gonna be tough again. So I would act up, you know. And the problem is, your mom, in my house, my mom's holding it down. But, you know, she gets stressed, and this is like 1989. You know, we got a Cold War going on, guys. Ass whoopings are flying. We don't know if the Ruskies are going to invade. And so my mom used to lay down some serious ass whoopings. My dad's were just power ass whoopings. Like, my dad was just like, bam! My mom was like working it.
Yeah, she had more stamina, bro.
Yeah, she was like a Mexican boxer. You know, my dad was a black heavyweight, and my mom was a Mexican featherweight. You know, just like, God, 9th round in, I got nothing left, and now she's working the body. You know.
How about you, Kim? What was it like growing up?
Oh, my mama was super abusive. Like but the thing about it is, like, I didn't understand how abusive it was until I became an adult. And my wife didn't go through what I went through as a child. So we would be in an argument, and I would say something. She's like, why would you even say that to me? I said, because that's how we argue. She's like, no, that's not how you're supposed to do it. But my mom, you know, I was adopted, and my aunt was she was super disciplined. Like, she would beat you with belts and whatever. But when we got older, we were taller than her, she would slap you, bro. Like, she would pull your lips and then and like slap you. But then we got too tall for her. She's a short woman. She would call us names. Like, you stupid this, you ugly, you big tooth, you big, and as a kid, you're like, yo, B, I'm like your child.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the level of something you were doing though that would make her actually like grab your lip?
Bruh,
Like what
I was,
what would
I
the
was,
incident be?
we were, like I say, we were upstairs, downstairs, so we were making too much noise. You know what I'm saying? That for her, that was a
That would get
beating.
you a lip pull? That would
Bro,
get you
that
a
would get
beating?
me. Hey, bring your ass downstairs. I'm Kenneth,
She
and I
called you
got a
to
brother.
your beating.
My brother, Kenneth, Aaron, and Terrell. It was the three of us. My mom was like, Kenneth, Aaron, and Terrell. You know you about to get your ass whooped. When she do the names, we
Mhm.
are about to get murdered. So when I had kids, I'm like, I'm not whooping my kids. I've whooped my kids twice in their whole life. And my theory is this: people say you need to discipline these kids so they're gonna grow up and be better people, right?
Mhm.
That's supposed to be the rule of the discipline. There are probably 1 million incarcerated men right now that are African Americans. I can guarantee you they all got their ass whooped as kids. And they still in jail. They still went to jail. They still got in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So whooping a kid, there's no proof out there that whooping a kid makes them grow up to be a better person. It just doesn't. It was just something they parents whooped them, our parents whooped them, our parents whooped them, and slave owners whooped their parents. So
Yeah.
so if slave owners started all this crap and all the way down. So I decided I wasn't going to discipline my kids. My kids are more upset when I'm disappointed in them than they are
Mhm.
from an ass whooping.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because my dad had three boys, and I'll go home and visit. And a lot of times we'll just sit on the porch, have a beer, and talk about stuff, because it's his chance to vent about the kids he sees every day still. Because both my brothers still live at home. I'm the only one living out on my own and everything else. And I've been that way since I was 17. So we'll go out and he'll just open up and say the things he wants to say but can't because everybody still lives in his house. And he's like, Mike, I had three very different ways of controlling your brothers. He's like, your older brother, he was a scrapper. He always wanted to fight. It always came to fists with him. Like I've seen my dad and my older brother have fights that I bartended for 13 years, and none of those fights could hold up to the head pounding into drywall that I've seen in my house between those two. My little brother, he would just yell at, and that was enough for my little brother to just crumble. He's like, I tried yelling at you, it never worked. I tried spanking you, it never worked. He's like, with you, it was just, I just had to look at you and say, you really disappointed me today. And he's like, I knew that destroyed you inside, and that's all I had to do. And that was the only talk I ever had to have with you. So it's kind of like that with my two boys right now. I'm not spanking either of them. I've never hit either one of them. But the oldest one, all I got to do is slightly, even unintentionally, when I raise my voice, he starts tearing up, and I feel horrible. The little one, he just turns his ears off and ignores you and just walks around like he never even heard you, which drives me crazy. But since I can't grab him and shake him and put him through drywall, I don't know what to do, man.
Mike, armpits in between the toes. Child Services never checks armpits in between the toes.
My
So
my
you gotta burn them.
My older brother and I saw a commercial when I was like 6 years old and he was like 7 or 8, and it was for DCF. And it said, "Are you being abused? Here's the number to call." So we thought we got this covered. So like that night at dinner, my dad starts yelling at my older brother, and my older brother's like, "I'll call DCF." He's like, "Where'd you hear about that?" And he's like, "We were watching TV." He's like, "Well, no TV for you guys anymore." And then he's like, "You want to call DCF? Go ahead, call DCF. It's going to be fun watching you try to dial with broken fingers." And this was rotary phone days, where you had to pull it. And he's like, my mom was like, "Go ahead, call DCF, but they're not going to be disappointed when they get here. We're going to give them a reason if they're making the trip." And that was it. We never mentioned DCF again.
You remember they used to those DCF commercials would come on during cartoons, which is
Yep.
kind of smart, kind of
Yep.
smart.
Yeah,
They'd be like,
yeah.
"Hey, real quick, hey, it's Tony the Tiger. Hey, real quick, you getting your ass whooped? Hey, just
It was
blink twice, kid. Blink twice."
It was like, He-Man, I have the power in them, but if you don't have the power,
If you've
just
been
like
beat by
Skeletor
a power cord,
Yes.
please give us. My mama got mad at me. I whoop. I no. I said what? I yelled at my daughter when we were home. I yelled at her, and she said, "You don't talk to them that way." I was like, "Who? Who are you?" I said, "Woman, you told me you would rip my arm off and beat me with it. Who?" And all I told my kid was to sit down and shut up. But my
Mhm.
mama threatened to rip. What did she say to me one time? My mama and her husband at the time used to argue about a car. And I never cussed in front of my mama. Never. I cussed in front of my mom, and I took a lawn chair and slammed it on the hood of the car. Our brand new car. My mama took a beer mug. You know them big solid glass beer mugs? And threw it at me, bro. Popped me upside the head. I ran and lived with my brother for like 2 weeks. And then my brother ran out of food. And I called my mom like, can I come home? Reggie ain't got no food here. Bring your ass home.
I'll take the ass whooping. I'm hungry.
My mom said, bring your little black ass home.
Well, you know what? I know that we have a Throwback Thursday with Miguel, but I didn't realize that you guys had got this beat up when you were a kid, so I didn't know we were going to run this long. So I'll tell you what, we got to take a break real quick, but when we come back, we got Throwback Thursday with Miguel, and I think what he's going to talk about kind of deals with what we've been talking about, so I'm really looking forward to it. Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear this when we come back. More Real Laughs. Hey, folks. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Laughs. I'm Mike Curley, filling in for James John. Also joined in studio with Miguel Colon Jr. and Ken Miller. Now, we were just talking in the last segment about how we were raised as children, how we're raising our children, because pediatricians are coming forward and finally saying that spanking kids probably isn't the right way to do things. And we didn't have time to get to it last segment, but actually, Miguel, famous for his Throwback Thursday segments, of course. Your Throwback Thursday this week. Am I correct that it actually relates to exactly what we were talking about?
It relates to the exact topic. My Throwback Thursday this week are 3 of the most memorable ass whoopings I've ever taken.
Yeah, the most memorable.
Memorable.
Have at it, man. I can't wait.
You know the ass whooping bad when you got a top 3.
I'm 38 years old, and I remember the 3 that shaped me. December.
Dude, that's 6 months ago.
Yeah. December 1989.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The Cold War's in bloom. My father's deployed. Micro machines are all the rage. I left all my micro machines out on the floor. My mom spent money on them. You guys remember stuff like that was expensive.
Yeah.
And for me, man, like, I don't talk about it a lot, but when your dad's deployed, your mom, everybody tries to do stuff to cheer you up. Even aunts and stuff are like, oh, and my mom has 9 sisters and 2 brothers, so like, Ooh. Yeah, so some of my aunts, they had jobs and they still lived at home and stuff, so they would be cool. I had cool aunts and uncles who were like, let me send the kids some toys. And we were the first cousins for almost 15 years, So we would get toys from my aunts and stuff. And they got me all these micro machines because one of my aunts worked at Penny's in New York, and she used to and she would do the displays. So when they were done with the displays, she would get the toys and send them to me. And so I got all these micro machines, and my mom said it. She said, clean this mess up. And I'm sitting there like, I'm playing with my goddamn micro machine. I will clean it up, Daisy, when I am done playing with my micro machines. I didn't say that, but my eyes said it. I was like, okay, Mom. And so she went into the other room, and I thought I had time. But she came right back out, and I wasn't even beginning to start cleaning. Now, the truth is, I was still exactly in the same position I was in less than a minute ago. But, she gave the order. And she came back and she was furious and she was like, what the blah, blah, blah. And she took the micro machine track, which was my beloved track. Yeah. And then it just became like a mini katana. And she slapped me wide and chopped with it. Katana. Yo, I'm just getting hit with the track. And then she's like scooting the micro machines, kicking them with her feet. And she's like, clean the mess up. Yo, can she smoke me like a drill sergeant? She's like, clean the mess up. Clean the mess up. I'm like, you're making more of a mess. You're making more of a mess. But she whooped me so hard with the micro machine track that it cracked the track because it was a little flimsy and I could never use it again. And then on Christmas that year, she bought me a new micro machine track, and I think she was trying to be nice, but I opened that box up and I was just like, oh, no, not this again.
Fun fact, the Geneva Convention has outlawed the use of micro machine tracks in any interrogation. Like, you're still allowed to hook people up to a battery, but you can't hit them with a 2x2 inch plastic.
It was just sharp, even though it was rounded.
Yep.
Second ass whooping that's very memorable. This one's
ass
weird.
Whooping number
2. This one's weird. Remember, this is only from loved ones, and this one's weird. None of these are like the most vicious ass whoopings I've gotten. Trust me, these are just memorable ones. me and my father, we were living now. This is like 1991, 92. We were living in the Naval Weapons Station in Charleston, South Carolina, and we had a 2-story house for the first time, and I loved it. It was just cool. I've been running up and down the stairs, as a kid. But my father told me, stop running up and down the stairs, stop running up and down the stairs, and I didn't. And so he caught me in, I don't know what that area is called, in between both floors, but you know what I'm talking about? Like in between the steps going up. And he caught me there, and he got in my face, and I put my hands up, but not for any reason, just because it threw me off. And I think that really pissed my dad off. And he went to like grab me, but it almost pushed me down the stairs. And he caught me right there. But I thought for a second my father threw me down the stairs. Like he just grabbed me and that pushed me back. And then he caught me because dads, you guys are dads. You got those monkey reflexes when you think your kid's about to get hurt. But for a split second, I was like, did this MFer just try to throw me down the stairs? And I froze because I was like, we never hit that level before, Dad. Like, we never got there. But then I saw it in his eyes that he was like, did I almost accidentally knock my kid down the stairs? And we laughed,
you know what's crazy, though? As kids, what was so exciting about running up and down steps?
Nothing. I get tired now going up the steps.
What was so? It was kids for some reason. We love running up and down the steps.
And I get it. How annoying. I mean, I imagine now my father just trying to be like, "Hey, let me ask you to do one thing that's really simple. Don't run up and down the steps, so that we can all relax in this house." And I'm like, this man don't know nothing,
Steps are fun.
Not now. Now, even early in the morning when I walk down the steps, I got to brace my hips for this. I'm like, all right. And number one, most memorable ass whooping of my time happened at Disney World. I was so excited.
The happiest place on earth. You got whipped.
Happiest place on earth. Went to Disney World on vacation. My little sister Trish is wearing like the Cinderella hat, and she's got one of those invisible dogs that you can walk around. Like she's having a blast. I'm having a blast. We're all having a good time. We're standing to get a picture with Tigger. And you know how they got those people that are the handlers that are with them and stuff?
Greeters, yeah.
Greeters, yeah. They're all there. And they're asking everybody, hey, guys, real quick, can you guys, like, be quiet? I think they had somebody with special needs or something about to get a picture with Tigger, and they're just asking everybody to be quiet. I go instantly get quiet. I get quiet. Some other kid starts talking. My father tells me, shut up. And I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. And then the kid keeps talking, and my father backhands me to the point where Tigger stops. No lie. My whole family knows this story. Tigger stops and looks at me, and one of the handlers goes, like laughs. And and the best part about this is we have like FBI film of this because we have a picture of me standing there, like smiling, and then instantly a picture of me like backhanded me in front of Tigger and made the handler laugh. Honorable mention, ass whooping goes to the time we were staying in New York. We were in Brooklyn. I was at my grandmother's house. And you guys know Brooklyn, man. People got roosters and chickens and stuff. It's a weird thing. And I'm staying in the same bed as my mom. I'm probably like 8 years old. And this rooster keeps going off in the morning. And dead in my sleep, my mom slaps me and tells me, shut up. And I'm like, it's a goddamn rooster. Like, I woke up to being smacked and blamed for, I'm like, that's not a sound I've ever made. Like, that's not something I do normally, man.
Son,
so that's the Throwback Thursday of some memorable ass whoopings.
This dude just said, cock-a-doodle-doo ain't even the sound I normally make.
Don't blame this one on me, man.
You know how annoyed you go as a parent you gotta be when the rooster sounds like your kid. Like you have to be that annoyed with your kid as you whoop your kid at the dog. Stop your mouth. It was the dog, mama.
Yeah, stop running around barking and growling at strangers.
Man, my mama beat me one time, y'all. Ain't we doing a prank segment? Are we doing a
Yeah, I mean,
if we are, then I don't want to tell the story.
Save it. Okay. We got a prank segment coming up.
Okay,
but it's funny, guys, because I know this week has been a lot of stuff going on in the world. More importantly, a lot of stuff going on in the country. We got a lot of riots and a lot of protests, almost to the point where you see all those people gathered protesting. You make yourself wonder: has everybody forgot about COVID-19? Like, is that still out there? Like, are we supposed to be worried about that?
Listen, there's continuity errors with this story. Okay?
there's been people that have learned to adapt with COVID-19, and some people are really going above and beyond. This is going around across the country. Some priests across the country have found a novel way to make sure that baptisms are still getting done. Have you guys heard about this? They're now baptizing people and anointing people with holy water. So they're using super soakers. Dude, doesn't this picture
situation?
Doesn't this picture more like a home break-in where he's holding the baby up?
Yeah.
So, but look how focused the preacher is. Like
he's got aim.
Like,
he needs a laser sight on that.
Oh, but he's got no trigger discipline. Look at this dude. Yo, he looks like he's pulling a hit. What you guys can't see is there's like an archbishop with a mask on. He's got one water pistol just shooting at the car. He looks like he's busting caps in it.
He's not even holding it sideways though. Like he could get that gangster angle on it.
Yeah. You know where they had all these water guns?
This one's my favorite. This is my favorite one.
With the one holding the woman, he's got the woman's holding the baby up, guys, and they're in like church, and the priest is on the other side of the holy water bin, and like she's holding that baby up, like don't take me, take the baby.
That's a human shield situation right there.
If this is a Catholic church, he's like, I'm only here for the baby.
And you know the funny thing, like we've talked about, so that's one way that churches are dealing with, baptism and stuff like that. And I think we talked last week what some restaurants were doing, putting mannequins or inflatable sex dolls into booths, making it feel like less, weird, which I tend to think sex dolls in a booth next to you makes it a little more awkward.
They're like, look how hungry these mannequins are. They're all like,
sex dolls, period, are weird. That's weird.
There's some restaurants in Paris. There's a company that's already producing these, and what they're making is basically plastic personal bubbles for when you go and dine, where they just basically.
The picture has two people sitting at a restaurant. There is bubbles between them, and they're sitting at a table. And I'm worried. I don't see like if the tops are open, you might get like carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah. They look like larger, like those plastic face masks. They just look like
the little mini plastic cups.
They do. Yeah. Like the party.
Yeah, like the party cups. Yeah,
like when you don't want to give someone a glass, it's a crown and on the rock.
Let me speak up real quick, guys. I know that they're trying to make this the norm, but they've been trying to get us to wear condoms forever. And that's not happening still. I don't think we're all going to jump on the whole, let me go have dinner inside a plastic bubble.
When I saw this picture, the first thing I thought of was Get Smart, when they had the cone of silence. I don't know if you guys remember. Like, it looks like the same thing to me. It's just plastic cone slips right over people. But dude, I'm just curious to see what kind of more innovations are coming out. People dealing with this, and I gotta tell you, I don't think we're gonna see too much more because I bought a bike online and it just came damaged in the box, so I had to take it to a physical store to return it today. And when I tell you, other than the employees and me, there must have been there's no more stop at the door, wait to go in, only a few people at a time. When me and the employees were the only ones wearing masks, like some guy came up to me, asked me if I knew where basketball was were because I look like someone who worked there.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you, people have already started not caring so much about COVID-19. Yeah. Have you guys seen that going out and about?
You can just look at the news. It's whole ass protest. When people ain't got masks on, nobody cares anymore.
First of all, when you protesting, this is the time to wear a mask.
Yeah,
you just blame it on the COVID. Be like, no. I try to hide.
I don't think people care. I went to Sam's a week or two ago to go get some meat.
Do you wear a mask when you go out?
I have a mask on, and a lot of people in there. Dude, it's people in there with their babies. Nobody has a mask. The whole family, no mask. Yeah. And it's like people just.
We need to have a big COVID chicken pox party. It's just like, let's all get together and get COVID.
Not all of us are going to survive.
Yeah. Yo, my mama did that. My brother got chicken pox. She's like, now rub on his skin.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Yo, y'all going to miss school at the same time. Go rub. Like,
everybody hug each other. It ain't gay. It's for
chicken
science.
Pox party, yo. Oh, my God. Look, I'm looking back on it. My mama should be in jail.
Yeah, Ken.
Yeah, bro. Should legit be in jail.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in again tonight in Real Laughs. On behalf of Miguel Colon Jr., Ken Miller, I'm Mike Hurley. James will be back with us next week. Be sure to catch us Monday through Thursday, 9 o'clock, right here on 104.1. Take care. Have a great night.